In this video, I'm here to share my thoughts on which ceramic caves I believe are best for breeding L046 zebra plecos based on my years of breeding them and based on some recommendations I've been given by people who have been breeding them even longer than me. So I have my whole collection laid out here, and I think this video is also just kind of an excuse for me to show off all the ceramics I've collected over the years, but I kind of threw out one of each thing I have right here, and there's a couple things that you obviously have to look for when selecting your caves for breeding zebra plecos. It has to have, a solid back. It can't go in and out. Like if you look at some of these ones in the back row, they're more hiding caves. They're not spawning caves. It can't just be a cylinder with an open back like these right here. This would be great for little fry to hide in, but a zebra pleco wouldn't even be able to fit in that anyway. It's too small. This natural looking log here, same thing. There's no solid back on the end. This one in the back here kind of looks like a cave, but it's actually open on the other end. I don't even know where I got that one. This one is, again, another good spot for your zebra pleco adults to hang out and hide, but no solid caves. These are, again, just some more that are good hiding spots for adults and juveniles, but not a breeding option. And then you have these, I believe they're called calvises. They're too wide. The entrance can't be that wide. You want to create an environment where the zebra pleco male can trap the zebra pleco female, and those are just too wide. She'd be able to get out. I use these in all of my tanks because I feel that there should always be caves for the males and hiding spots for the females, and I think these calvises and the double calvises you see there, they give great hiding spots for the females, and they do a good job of helping me sex them too. I can tell which ones are females easily because those will be the ones that hide in the calvises while the males will hide in the caves. And even if all those criteria are met, the entrance of the cave still needs to be the right size. This one is clearly too big. A female would be able to escape, and then this one's too small. I don't even think that the two of them could fit in there very good. This is just some random brick. I don't even remember where I got this. I don't think it was made for pleco breeding, to be honest. And then this one, again, too giant. This is the Plecoceramics size large, I think. That's just too big for zebra plecos. So that leaves the remainder of these caves right here as potential candidates. But I'm going to kind of get to the point here and show you the ones that I think you should go with. Just want to point out this one right here too, because it kind of looks like a log, but it's not. That is a cave. That's one of the Plecoceramics natural looking caves. But to make things quick here, these are the two ceramic caves that I would recommend for breeding zebra plecos, and they both kind of are equal in my eyes, and I think you should have one of each in your zebra pleco breeding tanks if you've never bred zebra plecos before. This one on the left is the Plecoceramics size S for small cave. If you've ever seen Plecoceramics online, they breed zebra plecos in very large quantities out in the Ukraine, and they are pretty much the masters of breeding plecos. So they took all of their knowledge and expertise and started making ceramic caves as well, and these are the exact caves that they use in their operation. They are made to the exact specifications that they see zebra plecos, enjoying to use. So the length is just right, the mouth of the cave is just right. And what's important too when you're selecting your zebra pleco caves? If you want to stack any slate or stone, you want the top of the cave to be flat. You don't want it to concave down. You don't want it to be all bumpy and uneven. You want the cave to be flat on the bottom and flat on the top. This cave on the right here, this one, it comes from overseas, and I don't necessarily have like a brand name for it, but I know the wholesaler that sold it to Aquatics, who helped me get a hold of this. They call it the SS3, and there's a slightly bigger version called the SS2 that I'll show you as well. This one's the SS3 though. This one I've been using for a few years now, and this is actually the one I think that I had one of my very first zebra pleco spawns in. I love this cave. I forget who recommended it to me. Somebody in one of the pleco Facebook groups did, I think, and they said that their zebra plecos just love these caves. And that was a few years ago when I first started breeding the zebra plecos. I was able to find these on eBay back then, and you could get like a 5 or a 6 pack for $30, but that seller's long gone. So now George over at JL Aquatics was helpful enough to help me kind of get a supply chain going for getting these back in the US. So if you want to buy some, I'll link JL Aquatics website in the video description. I'll put the Plecoceramics website too. These SS3 caves go for $8, and then he has a slightly bigger version, the SS2. That one you could probably also get away with using for zebra plecos, and they'd probably love that one too. That one is also going to go for $8 on his website. And what I'm trying to show you right here is one of my zebra pleco breeding tanks, just to show you proof of how I'm doing it here. In this tank, I actually use a mixture of both of those caves, but in a lot of my tanks, I'll just do one or the other. But you can see I have some little babies up at the top here too, so these are definitely the caves that, they like to use. And then one thing about the JL Aquatics caves, on his website, the SS3, the one that I recommend, is going to be called the extra small. And then if you want one that's slightly bigger, but they would also still love, that's going to be called small on his website. And then on Plecoceramics website, if you want to buy one single of these size S caves, it's going to be $15, but you can save some money buying in bulk. They do offer 4-packs for $40. You can also get a 6-pack of the size S caves for $59, and you can even get a 20-pack for $126. So, do the math on all of those, but you're getting each one of the size S caves for a lot less than $15. And if you're going to start a zebra pleco breeding operation where you're going to have multiple tanks going eventually, it might be worth just buying them in bulk and storing some away until you need them. And one quick thing to note, Plecoceramics does distribute to JL Aquatics too, so he might have the size S's in stock from time to time. If you want to check his site first, you might be able to get them both there. If not, I'll link the Plecoceramics site as well. But yeah, these are the two go-to caves for sure. And this is not a sponsored post by any means. I made this completely of my own opinions, and I can't fake this stuff, because if you have seen any of my zebra pleco breeding videos, they're only spawning in these two caves for me. I give them other options, but they only ever use these two caves. So they really seem to like these. And one other quick thing I want to note as I'm kind of looking at the side profile of this cave here is, whatever cave you select for pleco breeding, whatever plecos you're going to breed, this is, even outside of L046, it's good to look for caves that are flat on the bottom and flat on the top. If you do plan to stack any slate or stone, because they do make a lot of caves that kind of, the mouth of the cave at the front is one height and then it tapers down to a lower height towards the back of the cave, or they make certain caves that are bumpy on the top so it's not a flat surface. That makes stacking slate in a nice and neat way a pain in the butt, So look for caves that are nice and flat on the top and the bottom, and they're all kind of one uniform height, and it makes stacking slate like that much easier. Now, one more important thing I want you to take away from this video is that if you don't have these two caves, it's not going to be impossible to spawn zebra plecos. They will spawn in other caves. I'm going to go through some of these other caves I have here and just kind of show you them and talk about them briefly, but they will spawn in other caves. This one I have right here is the SS2 that I was talking about, slightly bigger than the SS3. I've had a lot of success with the SS2, but as you can see, the SS3 is just so similar to it, and it's actually, right there next to the Plecoceramics one, pretty much identical in length, and a lot of the dimensions are very similar, so you could get away with the SS2, and I think they'd love that, probably just as much as these two, to be honest with you. So if you wanted to get a couple of those and put it in the mix, it might not be a bad idea. Here's that log one I showed before. Here's a bigger version of this smaller cave. I got a lot of these on Amazon and they were pretty cheap, but this is what I was talking about earlier. This is the issue. They make some caves where they're not flat on the top. Look at this one. It kind of tapers upwards toward the mouth of the cave. This makes stacking slate on them a major pain in the butt. It doesn't stack good. It angles downwards and it just looks stupid. So I hate when they make caves like this. This cave was actually not an awful size. My zebra plecos didn't hate it, but I didn't like how it tapered that way. This is one that I have that's just too small. No adult zebras are really going to fit in there. I have some long ones where the mouth of the cave is the right size and everything, and it's flat, but it's just way longer than it needs to be. That one's too wide. This one's too big of a mouth. My zebra plecos actually don't mind this cave either. They like this one a lot, but this one also has a top that kind of slants downwards toward the back, so I can't really stack it. This one's also super lightweight, so they kind of knock it around a lot, which I'm not a fan of. And I also don't like when caves are kind of painted like that. It just looks a little wild. So I don't really use this one too much, but I do know my zebra plecos didn't hate this one. And I have a couple of these square ones. They make good bases at the bottom of my slate towers, but way too big for zebra plecos. This one's not awful, but I hate when the caves are kind of pinched like that on the back, because then they're not flat on the bottom always. This one is just too long, and I think the mouth and kind of the inner diameter is a bit too big. This one's too big, and that's the bigger version of that one I showed you earlier. And then in the back left corner here, I have these slate pieces of tile that are wavy, and these are actually sold by the same people that make the SS3 and SS2, and you can use them in conjunction with these caves to make nice little stacks. So if you want one of those, reach out to JL Aquatics. He can get you those as well. But if you made it to the end of this video, you're a trooper. Thank you for sticking with me. I 110% made this video way too long, way longer than it needed to be. I'm looking at the time now, over 10 minutes. So I do apologize for that if you stuck with me through the whole thing. Thank you so much. But yeah, these are the two caves I would recommend. They're both pretty much equally good. The Plecoceramics one I find to be a little better with like really big males. And then I find the SS3 to be kind of just a good overall zebra pleco breeding cave. But just to recap those quick points, outside of these two caves, if you're looking for a good zebra pleco cave, try to match the dimensions of these caves as much as you can in terms of the mouth of the cave and the length and the inner diameter. And then also look for a cave that's flat on the top and the bottom, and it's kind of like parallel those two lines because you want to be able to stack slate on them easily. And you want to look for, ceramic caves. Ceramic is the best material to go with. And if you watch this video and you're like, Nick, I think you're crazy, I think that this cave is the best cave to use, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Because, this is only based on my opinions after breeding them for a few years and breeding plecos for, 5 or 6 years now. But feel free to let me know in the comments if there's a cave that is your go-to for zebra plecos that you think is better. But anyways, if you found this video helpful in any way, hit that like button. And if you're new to my channel and you want to see lots of pleco breeding videos just like this, hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you for watching.